All right, let's talk about the sumo deadlift. I hate sumo deadlift. Pretty much every sacred religious text in all of human history somewhere talks about how you should not sumo deadlift. Like it's in the Bible, in the Torah, in the Quran, in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever the Buddhists use, all of those specifically say, thou shalt not sumo. Now why? Here's the thing. Why is sumo bad? Why is sumo bull? Because it's cheating. Why is it cheating? That's your next question, right? I know that's what you're thinking. Well, it artificially shortens the legs and makes the range of motion on the deadlift be really, really short. So that's why we don't tend to use it for our general strength population. And that's exactly why powerlifters use it. So I'm gonna make this video because I know there's some powerlifters watching and they're like, bro, I can sumo deadlift more than I conventional. Of course you can. It's cheating. Of course you can sumo deadlift more. But if you lift in a powerlifting federation that allows it, you might as well do it. If everybody's cheating, you might as well do it too, right? Do some sumo deadlift, put on a squat suit. I don't give it, I don't care. Notice that all of the angle and all of the width is now in this frontal plane. He's got this super wide stance and he's gonna pull against the bar and get his hips as close to the bar as he can, chest up, clips closer, boom, just like that, and down. As opposed to his conventional deadlift, go back to that conventional, nice close stance, toes out, set up, and you can see how much more narrow he is in the screen. He doesn't take up much space from the front because all the angles are on the side. All right, so what's going on in the sumo deadlift for real? So when we artificially shorten your legs, when we take a wider stance, and you get shorter, what's actually happening is it's reducing the range of motion on the deadlift. So number one of the things that we use as our criteria to help get our general strength athletes stronger is we want them to move over a long range of motion, right? We want them to train the most muscle mass they can with the most weight possible over the greatest effective range of motion. Powerlifters will actually try to reduce that range of motion just to lift the most weight possible. They'll even cast off some muscle usage in order to just move the most weight. That's the goal, right? What a sumo deadlift does is it accomplishes some of that for us. So if you set up for your sumo deadlift, what you'll notice is, we'll show it in a minute, is that your knees will be slightly more bent on a sumo deadlift than they are on a conventional deadlift. So you're gonna get a little more quads, but your hips are gonna be way more open. And the muscles that control the hip extension are the muscles of the hamstrings and glutes. And those are the two biggest muscle groups in the entire body. Now, in a conventional deadlift, I'm also trying to work the back, right? So the back is way bent over in a conventional deadlift, and it makes my back strong. But in a sumo deadlift that's done really well, the more efficient a sumo deadlift is, the more vertical my back gets. My hips get closer and closer and closer to the barbell, so that the only thing that's really straightening out the hips are the glutes, the quads extend the knees, the back is almost no moment, and the adductors, adductors of the inside of your thighs are fully stretched out and they fire. So this is a very heavy exercise for the glutes, the quads, and the adductors, as opposed to spreading out the lift across all these muscle groups, quads, adductors, hamstrings, glutes, and making the back stay strong because it's in constant isometric contraction hold against the moment of a conventional deadlift, right? So it basically takes all of the physics of that and it makes it so that it just makes it a little bit easier. Shorter range of motion, back doesn't have to work as hard, hamstrings aren't stretched as much, quads have to do a little more work, but the quads work is relatively easy. They get help from the adductors that are also hip extenders, and the glutes basically extend the hips. But how hard is it to extend the hips when the hips are this far away from the barbell or from the gravity vector, as opposed to when the hips are this far away from the gravity vector in a conventional deadlift? So that's why sumo deadlift is easier. So let's see if we can actually set it up correctly. So you're gonna take a wide stance. You're gonna walk forward until your shins are actually about a ½ inch from the bar, because I want more vertical shins here. And part of it is because I'm artificially shortening your legs. You think about somebody who has long legs in a conventional deadlift, their knees are gonna be forward and out more than someone who has short legs. But what I just did is I took your long legs, your 6'1", and made them shorter, right? So a little closer to the barbell, just like that. No, you're fine, it's good. Toes out, and the toes are out because I want to facilitate knees going out. The knees want to track the same direction as the toes, and I want my knees to go out because the goal is the more the knees can go out, the closer I can get my hips to the barbell. a closer grip almost always on a sumo deadlift than your normal conventional. So for you on a normal conventional, you can probably even see a little bit of knurl inside your hands. On a sumo, you're probably gonna put one finger or so on the smooth. And then the goal here is to take plenty of time in the setup, be very, very patient, and try to squeeze your chest up and bring your hips closer to the bar, do it again, do it again, do it again, and keep getting your hips closer and closer and closer, pulling all the flex out of the bar. Chest up a little harder, right there, drag it up your legs. Boom, and down, good. Do it again, squeeze up. This time, once it leaves the ground, accelerate, fast. Boom, just like that, and down. Good, you can see how short the range of motion is. Let's do one more. And down. Now, let's note this really quick. One problem with the sumo deadlift is you have to wear long socks and often no heels on your shoes. Why do you need long socks? Well, because the knurl is always here. If you'll notice, there's no knurl on the barbell from here to here, and it was originally there because that's where your legs would go in a conventional deadlift. Set up your conventional deadlift like normal, and his legs go right where the smooth part is so that the knurl of the bar doesn't drag up his legs, right? But he doesn't get that in the sumo, you know, because he's cheating and not using a barbell like it's supposed to be used, but that's okay. We're not gonna judge him too much. Plus, I forced him to come here for this video shoot, so I'm not gonna hold it against you. So that's how we sumo deadlift. Now here's the thing. Even for really good powerlifters who sumo deadlift tons of weight, over 700 pounds, almost all of them train the conventional deadlift at least once a week for most of their training cycle. Because the conventional deadlift is the thing that will make them generally strong, better than sumo. So you can often think of sumo almost like a skill that we're trying to practice, similar to a snatch or a clean and jerk, or even, you know, firing off the line on an offensive line and hitting somebody. It's a skill that we must practice, and yes, it requires tremendous amounts of strength. But it's not going to build strength as well as a conventional deadlift is going to. So conventional deadlifts and squats will build all the muscles that the sumo deadlift uses, and then practicing the sumo deadlift as you get stronger and stronger and stronger in the squat and the conventional deadlift will carry over, and you'll almost always be able to sumo deadlift more than you can conventional deadlift. For more great tips on how to cheat at powerlifting, wait, I'm not supposed to say that. For more great tips on deadlift variations, click the link right up here. Cheat, I'm gonna teach you how to cheat.